Welcome to the WEInvested podcast, where we teach you how to save and make more cash. I'm your host, Wesley Earp, and here I have with me
Jacob Rodriguez.
This is season 1, episode 2, the debt debate. But before we get started, I must let you know we do not offer any financial, legal, or tax advice on this show. Let's do it. The cash quote of today by Nathan Morris. Every time you borrow money, you're robbing your future self. What did you think about that, Jake?
Yeah, man, I think that's a good quote. It's just controversial enough to kind of spark us into some good conversation. So I'm excited to get into it.
I agree, man. Let's get into it right now. So start off talking about the debt debate. And before we get into the debate, I just wanted to bring up what debt is in the first place. So debt is the state of owing money.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's as simple as that. It can get way more complex, but I mean, that's what it is.
For sure. And so there are a few different types of debt that we face every day. So we have credit card debt, student loan debt, have auto debt, medical debt, and then of course the highest debt, mortgage debt.
Yeah, that most people come into contact with their lives for sure.
All right, man. So now we can get into, I guess, the debate aspect of it.
Yeah.
So it's two different sides to debt, and it's two different views about it, and two prominent guys in finance, well-respected guys, and I just thought we should maybe kind of dig into how they think and what they think about debt. So we're gonna kind of compare what Dave Ramsey has to say about debt, and then we look at Grant Cardone. So two very well-off guys, well-known, well-respected, men in the financial world, but they both have totally different views on the subject.
Yeah, totally.
So Dave Ramsey kind of believes that all debt is bad debt.
Yeah.
And he was quoted saying that the shortest distance between you and wealth comes from having no debt.
Yeah, and I mean, that's pretty much like one of the first steps for like Dave Ramsey's program, right? Like it's first, I think, to like build an emergency fund, right? And then like the next thing in the Dave Ramsey method is to start paying down all your debts. And he has like another interesting method that I'm sure Grant Cardone wouldn't agree with, on how you pay down your debts. But yeah, and then do you want to explain kind of what Grant Cardone kind of believes in contrast to Dave Ramsey?
Yeah, man. So Grant Cardone, totally opposite, on the other hand, says that debt is your best friend. And he also stated that he uses debt to add income producing assets, which offer great upside and throw off positive cash flow.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that sounds like he's a real estate guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, I think it's pretty interesting kind of debate that's going on, because I think at least in the family that I was raised in, it kind of falls more to the Dave Ramsey side where people are thinking, debt's bad. If you owe anyone anything, you shouldn't, and you should try to repay as soon as possible. But that's kind of a hard thing in today's world, especially with people our age who just have a bunch of student loan debt, or like, and I guess the question is whether it's really a good thing to keep it or not.
Man, and I think most of America and most middle class families do agree with Dave Ramsey that to eliminate debt as much as possible. All debt is bad debt. So I can, I certainly see why, most families would think that way. My family thinks that way, too. So I was definitely raised thinking, okay, all debt is bad debt. Don't have any debt.
Yeah.
But
maybe we should talk about like a particular type of debt, like credit card debt. Like, do you think that's a bad kind of debt to have? Would you agree with Dave Ramsey?
Yeah, I would totally agree with Dave Ramsey that credit card debt is really one of the worst kind of debts, considered revolving debt.
Yeah.
So that's something that kind of hits you monthly, and it has interest fees and interest penalties. So I'm definitely not a fan of credit card debt, but I do know, or I am a fan of good debt, the different types of good debts. What about you?
Yeah, I would say it's kind of tough to say. Like I wouldn't. If I can't pay off my monthly payment, like I'm not gonna let my credit cards roll over. But like I pretty much put everything, all my purchases on my credit cards. But I think especially for credit cards, it really comes down to how well you know yourself. Like there's some people that I know that they shouldn't have credit cards because it's hard for them to control their spending, and if it doesn't feel like it's money coming out of their pocket, like cash money, that they're not spending something, so they end up running a huge balance on their credit cards. But for someone who isn't an outrageous spender and can kind of keep track, like credit cards are an option. I know we've both talked about that. We have our favorite credit cards. I have my card that gives me 2% cash back that for basically all my purchases, I'm getting 2% cash back on everything. So like leaving that on the table would be really hard for me to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So look, I guess we can have a debate inside of a debate.
Yeah.
So are you a cashback guy or a points guy?
that is a good debate. I like simplicity, man. I wish I could be a point guy, and I wish I could try all the hacks and get the most out of the money that I'm spending on credit cards. But for the most part, I'm not trying to spend like hours of my time researching, and I'll do it for a really good deal. Like there's the ones that are out there that you have to do. But like if I really have to think about it, it's not that fun for me. But if it's fun for someone, man, like you can do a lot of cool things with points.
Yeah, for sure, man. So I tried to do the points at one time, and I guess I hit the mark, but it didn't really work out the way I hoped it would. And then they have like the hidden,
there's all these little caveats you have to hit,
the fine print. So yeah, for sure, man. But about back to debt.
Yeah.
So Grant Cardone seems to think that there is a such thing as good debt, and he believes that good debt is basically anything that makes you money. So anything that puts money into your pocket.
Yeah, productive.
Exactly. So I'll be the first to admit I have debt right now as we speak.
Yeah, me too.
I have student loan debt.
Yeah, same.
Just like probably 90% of the millennials that are just recently graduated from school. So I'm in student loan debt, which I know it's a controversial thing because some people say student loan debt isn't really good debt, but I consider student loan debt a good debt because my student loans, my degree has allowed me to make more money than normal, and travel and see different things. So I definitely believe that the student loan debt that I have is good debt, and I don't regret it at all, actually.
Yeah, and I don't think you need to either. Like if you like good debt, I feel like is debt you can pay off first, and that like you'll make more money than the interest payments because of that debt. So like student loan debt is like the perfect example. Is like if I take out a student loan, I'm basically putting a bet that I'm gonna make more money because I have that degree and I can pay off the interest and the principal on that loan, and I'll still be making more money past that. So and it's kind of the same idea with real estate property as well too. Like no one has the in Reno where we are, no one has 400K. Me or you and me, we don't have 400K that we can just buy a house. But
most millennials do not have that.
Yeah, so we need to have some kind of way to finance that, and for a house it's a fine option. A lot of people have to accept that trade-off.
Yeah, man. I know I for sure do not have 400K laying around.
Yeah, no, me either.
But mortgage, I'm kind of torn about mortgages too. Mortgage debt and buying a actual home.
Yeah,
I'm torn about that, and I know this is against, this is a different thought process, but man, I feel that I feel that if your home is not making you any money, it's not bringing you any cash flow,
Yeah.
then I don't know if I would put that in the good debt side.
Yeah, I as I was kind of talking, I kind of agree with you that like this could be a whole nother episode in its own about, you know, your primary residence, you know, whether it really is productive debt or not. I would say it's not, but man, I don't know if we can get into that
Right, we might have to save that one for another episode.
We'll tease the listeners.
Yes, sir. Okay, but yeah, man. So, just kind of wanted to next, I guess, get into some cool ways to maybe help pay off that debt.
Yeah. If you fall into that camp where you think, you know, I just want this debt away from me. I don't want to keep on paying these payments. I just want to, you know, just live my life without feeling like I have this, you know, burden on me of $100-$200 a month that I keep on having to pay. You know, what are some good options for me to go about paying off my debt?
Awesome, man. So a few good options to you know, help assist with your debt payoff plan. First, we have here the debt snowball.
Yeah.
So that's basically paying off your smallest debt first while continuing to make payments on your other debts, continuing to make minimum payments. But then so you just roll that amount of the small payment. So so some great ways to pay off, to get some debts paid off and paid down. First option we have is the debt snowball.
Yeah.
So that's where you pay off your smallest debt first while continuing to make minimum payments on your other debts. But then, you know, once you pay off your smallest debt, you roll that payment into your next largest debt.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Yeah, so you're just kicking, you know, the debt that you see that's easy to take care of. You're just taking care of it first with the small balances, basically.
Exactly. And so the same amount you were paying for your smallest debt, once you pay that off, you roll that amount over into the next largest debt.
Yeah.
And then kind of just add it to it, so it snowballs and keeps going and keeps going, and then so the debt payments kind of get bigger and bigger as you go along. That's the idea for it.
Yeah, totally. And this is Dave Ramsey's kind of idea, right? You know,
this is his go-to method for paying off debt.
Yeah, totally. And I think I've even heard some podcasts where I listen to his podcast every once in a while, and he even admits that, like, mathematically, this isn't the best way to save money. Like, you're gonna spend more money paying off debt this way, but it's easy for people to do, because if you have a debt, say, of $300, and then you have like a huge debt of like $30,000, it's gonna be a lot easier, and you're gonna feel a lot better about yourself if you just knock out that $300 one in a few weeks, compared to just being like, okay, I have to chip away at something that's higher interest that has a bigger amount.
It's kind of a morale booster, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what Dave Ramsey is really all about. Like, he understands. I think he's been in personal finance long enough to know that there's more to finance than just the math part of it, of what makes sense with the numbers. There's real people behind, that have these, number problems, that it's hard for them to always do the right thing that a computer would do. Like, humans are just a little different, so they have to be motivated, and so a good way of doing that is paying your smallest debt off first.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So now we can get into the second option, which is, I guess I could say is personally my favorite. The second option of debt payoff is the debt avalanche. Yeah. So this is when you pay off your debt with the highest interest rate first.
Yeah.
And then once you pay off the first one with the highest interest rate, you go on to the next highest interest rate. Yeah. So this payoff method kind of makes, definitely makes more sense.
Yeah.
I don't want to say more sense, but
it's mathematically you're going to pay a lower amount on all your debt than Dave Ramsey's method. Yeah.
Yes. And it just lightens it lightens, for me, it's the debt avalanche method seems just like a smarter route, because you get to save more, in contrast to just kind of paying off the smallest debt first.
Yeah, totally. I think for people who, enjoy kind of crunching the numbers and seeing how they can save the most. And they have the discipline, and they know themselves that they can, pay off debt, even though it doesn't feel quite as good, but if they do it like the mathematical way that's going to save them the most money, I'm in the same camp that I'd feel better knowing I'm saving money rather than I'm just, kicking numbers off of my debt pile. So totally.
Yes, sir. Okay, so now is for the big moment, the big reveal.
Yep.
To see what side you're on.
Yeah.
Whose side you'll take in the great debate, the great debt debate.
Man, I think it just comes down to personally, I would probably give this answer differently. If I was talking about the vast majority of people, I would probably lean more towards Dave Ramsey, because, I think most people, they should first focus on not getting debt. If you have to get a little debt, I get it, but you should try to avoid it. But for me personally, debt's going to be part of my life. And I think, you have to handle it responsibly, just like anything, because it can get, out of control if you're taking it out and you're not really thinking about the consequences.
Awesome. And I think I would have to go with, I think I would have to side with Grant Cardone on this one, just because, the importance of knowing how to properly use debt as leverage, just understanding how to use debt and, kind of what it can get you and, how far it can take you if you learn how to use it correctly.
Totally.
So I would definitely have to side more with Grant Cardone. Even though I do agree with Dave Ramsey, like you said, to a certain aspect, but I'm on Grant's side this time.
Totally. Me too.
All right, man. Well, I guess that wraps up another episode for us. Season 1, episode 2, the debt debate. You want to let the people know how they can get in contact with you?
Yeah, man. My Instagram handle is Here's Me Jacob. I just put it on my phone from last week, so all you people who want to talk to me, I'm finally fully on Instagram. I'm not just in and out like I used to be. So that's where you can find me.
Yes, sir. All the supporters can go find them.
Yeah,
for sure. And you can find us at WEInvestedonline.com. That's WEInvestedonline.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at WEInvested. You can find us on Instagram at WEInvested. And you can also check out our YouTube channel. Yeah. For those of you watching this on YouTube, please like, share, comment, support.
Totally.
Thank you.
Thank you.